different things will work for different kids. Every kid has a different temperament. Every family has different resources and different experiences. So we really need to treat our kids like they're individuals.
Rachael Shepard-Ohta, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Tommy. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, we're delighted to have you. For the audience, can you start by introducing yourself?
So, again, my name is Rachael Shepard-Ohta, and I live in San Francisco, California. I have 3 kids, and I have founded Hey Sleepy Baby, and I also host a podcast called No One Told Us, which is all about information for parents, mostly centered around sleep and feeding and parenting in those early years.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you founded it and how?
Yeah, so I founded it during COVID. So I was on maternity leave with my second baby, and we had a really hard time with sleep with my first child. We just didn't really know what we were doing. And, you get conflicting advice from all different directions when you're a new parent, and everybody thinks they know best. And so we ended up approaching sleep in a way that just really didn't end up working out for us and really didn't feel very good. And I knew that I wanted to do things differently with my second baby. So really it just came out of researching different methods and different approaches to sleep and to parenting in general. And I found this certification program and kind of decided that it would be like my little maternity leave project because I was a teacher at that time. So I kind of started diving into my certification program, diving into the research and learning as much as I could about it. And it kind of just started this new passion, and then it really just took off. I think a lot of people were at home and struggling with kids during COVID, so it was kind of like the perfect time to be starting something like this. And so I started my Instagram platform, and I never returned to teaching after that. So it's just kind of grown from there.
That's amazing. And I have so many questions, actually. You mentioned first that you had your first child, and there was some learning curve with the sleeping process, let's call it. What would you say the big lesson was, if you had to just put it into a few sentences?
Yeah, totally. I think for me, the biggest lesson and the thing that I try to teach parents about now was just that every child is different and there is no one size fits all advice. So anything that you read, anything that you look at, you can kind of take with a grain of salt, but really you are the expert on your baby and you know best. And different things will work for different kids. Every kid has a different temperament. Every family has different resources and different experiences. So we really need to treat our kids like they're individuals.
Absolutely. And it's such an important thing too. Brand new parents, they come home, and I always get a kick out of, you have a child and you walk right out of the hospital. Are you like qualified? Do you feel qualified? And it's like, then you're home and you're like, okay, we're in this. And then it's like,
yeah, like we really are responsible for this little person forever. It's a really big thing that you can't possibly be prepared for before you do it.
And now your podcast, which I love the name, No One Told Us. What inspired you to do that? And also, how'd you come up with the title?
What I've found is that so many parents prepare for birth, right? You hear parents all the time taking a birth class or even taking breastfeeding classes before their baby is born. And really nobody prepares you for things that you are really going to need as well. Like those things are obviously important, but not a lot of people learn about sleep before their baby is born. I think people just assume that the baby sleeps when they're tired and you put them down in their crib and that's about it. But there's also so many other things that you just are not prepared for, both in parenting and just in your own personal journey as you go through parenting. So a lot of it doesn't even have to do with the kid. It has to do with your own inner work that you have to do when you become a parent. And so I really just kind of wanted to a creative outlet, honestly. It was a little bit of a selfish project. I really wanted to kind of do something that wasn't all about sleep all the time. Because I love doing sleep education, but I've been doing it for 4 years now. So there's only so many times you can repeat yourself without it, becoming redundant. So I just wanted to kind of start a new project, and I wanted to talk about all these things for new parents that really we should be prepared for and that we should know about before embarking on this journey of parenthood. So I have all kinds of expert guests come on talking about anything you can imagine. We've been, actually our 1-year anniversary is coming up. We just put out our 50th episode this past week. So yeah, it's been really fun.
So you're really definitely on to something, because parents really will do like absolutely anything to get a child to go to sleep, especially after you're crossing and checking everything off the list that hasn't worked so far. So thank you so much for your service. A lot of parents out there definitely appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
And I guess, what has been your favorite part of being a creator and podcast host and developing this wonderful community over all this time?
I mean, you just said it, it's community. So for me, it's been just so amazing to connect with people from all over the world. I have a very international audience, which is so cool. And so I feel like I've learned just as much from my audience as they might learn from me. And so it's been really, really fun to just have this connection with people and with other moms all over the world. And I've made some really great friends as well. Some people that I talk to every single day that we've never even met in person. It's like these online relationships that sound weird, but you don't really know what it's like to be a content creator, to be in this online space unless you're in it. So it's really nice to have people that kind of get it too. So yeah, definitely just the sense of community and the relationships has been the best part for sure. And of course, the fact that I get to do it from home and I've gotten to be at home with my kids is also amazing.
Absolutely. The new remote life is incredible. And I think overall, probably a net positive, because as you said, you get to raise your kids, be involved in their life, and develop this community of people who are sort of, in a way, helping you develop the advice together, it sounds like, because you're getting input from them and kind of learning that and then recycling that information through your own filter and then redistributing that advice in a way that people can really benefit from.
Yeah, that's been a really fun part, is just, this sense of kind of camaraderie and just the sense of community. It's been really, really amazing and something that I'm most proud of with my platform in general. It's been really fun.
What are some challenges of your work, from your work, different parts that you've had to overcome, and what lessons have you learned from that?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to have a thick skin to put out anything online these days. There are people that are, those keyboard warriors that love to just send you all the ways you're wrong, all the ways they hate you. And so that has been something that I've had to kind of just develop over time, is letting those things roll off my back, which some days is easier than others. So I'd say that's just definitely the hardest part, is just the constant criticism and constant critique that you get when you're putting yourself out there online. And that, I think, goes for anybody. I don't think I'm special or different. I think everybody that's putting things out for public consumption online deals with that, unfortunately. So I'd say that's the hardest part. And just like, I think any business owner can relate to the fact that you're always on. So in some ways it's a much more flexible schedule. I can take more time off. I can, work from home, work from my phone, which is so great. But there's also this line that's kind of hard sometimes, where you feel like you should always be working, because if you're not working, you're not making an income. And I have lots of people that work for me now. I have a team and they're all moms. They're all people with little kids. Lots of them are pregnant right now, actually. And so that part is also just a lot of pressure to make sure that that we're always kind of running, because if I'm not working, they're not bringing in an income for their families either. So yeah, there's that little bit of pressure too, just as a business owner in general.
I can totally empathize with that. And but what a great team, though. A team of moms. I mean, moms get it done. So that's quite the high-powered team, I would say.
They get it done. They can multitask like no other. Yeah, I really only hire moms, to be honest.
I mean, it's absolutely true. There's just something about how incredibly efficient and productive, and just always, we work with a lot of moms in the foundation too, who we get an insight into their story at Childhood Cancer Society and what they really go through. I mean, you have the regularness of being a mom, of, the regular tasks and difficulties of raising kids, work, and all the things that you mentioned before, and then throwing a chronic, life-threatening illness into the mix. Of course, dads, of course, are great too, but we work a lot with the moms directly, and we see just they're so incredibly tough and resilient and productive too, though. I mean, they just one foot in front of the other. It's amazing what you can do if you have to.
Exactly.
And moms get that for sure.
Yeah.
Out of all the time you've been doing it, are there any interactions that have that are top of mind that kind of rise to the top for positive experiences?
Since my platform has gotten larger, I've started to get recognized in public more over the last couple of years. And it's always really fun to meet people in person. And there have been a couple of times where people have come up to me and they're crying and they're like, you have no idea how much you've changed my life. Like I could, they're just so thankful for what I put out. And so for someone who is, I'm always working alone. Like, even though there is this amazing community, I'm always creating content alone. I'm always working alone. I'm just, talking to my phone all the time, like wondering if anyone is really listening. And so those interactions are always so nice to just have that confirmation that I'm not just talking to myself and that what I'm saying is actually making a difference for people. So that's been really cool.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's like an emotional moment too. Like people are having, this really difficult time, and then they find a solution by coming across your community in your page, and then suddenly the solution is there, and then running into you in real life, it's like, you don't know how many hours of sleep you saved us.
Yeah. And just the stress too. It's like, I think sometimes people, even if they don't end up getting more sleep from what they learn from my page, they just have that like sense of relief that there's nothing wrong with them and that they're normal and that it's going to be okay. And I think sometimes that's all parents really need to hear, is that like, you will get through this, it's going to be okay. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your baby. You're not messing up. So I think that can be like the most impactful thing you can hear sometimes when you're in the thick of it.
Absolutely. That really resonates with us here too. A little dose of hope and optimism and reassurance can go a long way for sure. Well, we're super excited to be launching our Give Butter campaign with you. We're calling it the Adventure TED Challenge. Of course, Childhood Cancer Society is a nonprofit dedicated to helping families struggling with pediatric cancer financially and emotionally. And Adventure Ted's our superhero teddy bear who helps these families overcome their challenges so that they can help others to do the same in the future. And we can't thank you enough. And the problem is so huge. I mean, there's 15,000 new children diagnosed with cancer every year in the US alone, children from newborn to age 19.
Yeah, I mean, it was such an easy yes, honestly. Like, ever since I started, one of my huge pillars for my business was to always be giving back. And so I was actually so grateful that you reached out and wanted to partner together, because it just seemed like, how could I say no? Like, these are kids and families that could be part of my community, that could be, Hey Sleepy Baby parents, or they could be listeners to the podcast or not. But I still want to help because, I am so lucky so far to not have had any health issues or health scares with my children, but who knows what tomorrow brings, right? Like, we could all be in that position at some point in time, and we would hope that others would help us. And my community, like I said, from day one, we've done so many different, charities and fundraisers and things like that. And my community always rallies around causes that I am passionate about. So it just seemed like the perfect fit. And that, again, like, how could I say no to families that are dealing with pediatric cancer? Like, I would love to help in any way that we can.
Well, you certainly could have said no, but we appreciate you big time for saying yes. And honestly, it's, I've been doing this for a long time, almost 19 years, if you can believe it. And you never expect that diagnosis, and it's always such a shock. As families, they have a child and they have all these hopes and dreams built into them, and a projection of what their life could like, which of course is there's an expression, man plans and God laughs, but usually you hope it doesn't take such a bleak turn. And there's been sort of, it's always really challenging, but there's also sort of this beautiful harmony that I've noticed over my time in doing this, that circles around people trying to do something nice for someone who really needs it. And it's a human instinct. People love to help others, and they pray that someone would do that for them as well, but also at the same time, without any expectation of anything in return. People want to be there for their fellow humans, and there's nothing more important or more existential than building the next generation and helping people to live long, happy, healthy, meaningful lives. And we want to thank you so much for being a part of that and helping these people on their journey when they are hitting the rocks a little bit right now with the challenge, but something amazing happens when you help them to overcome this challenge. And that's what we aspire to do every day. And we want to thank you so much for being a part of that.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I'm so happy to be a part of it, and I'm really excited to partner together.
Absolutely. One last question would be, if you have a single message for your community who are watching this Adventure TED Chat, what would it be?
Just that you're already doing such a great job. Like, I tell parents all the time, they're super anxious, they're worried they're messing up, and I'm always wanting to just let them know and help them understand, like, just the fact that you're seeking this information out, just the fact that you're trying to help your child in this way or be a better parent, like, that means that you're already doing great, right? Because bad parents wouldn't be looking for that information. So, just know that you're already doing an amazing job, and that your child is so lucky to have you, and that you are really the expert on your child, and you don't need as much external validation as you think you do. Like, you already have so many of the answers inside.
Excellent advice. Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the show,
Thank
and
you.
really looking forward to this journey with you.
Me too. Thanks so much for having me.